Hola, ¿qué tal? Me llamo Byron Gonzalez here for Latin Alt Radio. We're a station here in Southern California, supporting emerging and great artists from all over Latin America. And today I am joined by the wonderful composer, entrepreneur, bilingual singer, and total badass of a woman and musician. We got Francisca Valenzuela here. How are you, Francisca? Es
I'm
un gusto
good,
de
thank
verte otra
you.
vez.
Igualmente, igualmente. Qué gusto verte, Byron. Thank you for that intro. It's empowering to start a new day.
I mean, you do so many things. I don't know how you're able to. I can barely even do my emails in one day.
Well, to be honest, today is one of those days where we're just saying here, I'm kind of slow and it's kind of been clumsy. We're here in Mexico City and I was on my way to student. I was in the car and I was like, oh, I forgot everything. I forgot like my guitar. I forgot everything. I'm like, I need coffee. I need to kind of get my stuff together. I'm a mess. So I try and I enjoy and grateful to be doing music in these times.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good to hear that you're also clumsy. Hey, you're human too.
The clumsiest, Byron, ¿qué crees? The clumsiest.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Well, hey, it's so good to talk to you again, especially, you have so many things coming up. You have a tour with Camilo Septimo. You have a brand new album coming out May 6th, which is incredible. And I was just thinking about it, that it seems so crazy that you just released a new album, but you're releasing another one. But you tend to forget that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I feel the same. La Fortaleza, which is the previous album, which means the strength of the fortitude, came out 2020. It was an album that, as for myself and all of us, we had no idea a pandemic was coming. So there was a whole plan in place for the release of the album. But it was very interesting because though it came out in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, I think it kind of gained another life because it was a pandemic album. And since it had this message about strength and resilience and connection, the projects we did around the album in pandemic almost made sense. It was very lovely how it kind of became this other kind of project. And so I didn't propose to be like, oh, I'm going to make another album in the pandemic. It just kind of organically happened. I began to work on another project with a producer who's based in LA called Sebastian Cris. And we were working on this project with Elvis Costello, and it was incredible. And suddenly he was like, what are you writing? What's happening? And I sent him my demos, and there was a body of work there with a perspective. And I had been writing a lot of pandemic. And he's like, I think we should put it up, make this into an album and put it together. And it was such a lovely kind of gift in the middle of the pandemic to be able to sit into this, go into the studio and work on a new album that, speaks about the need to survive and to connect and to kind of live life at its fullest. And the album is called, the new one, not La Fortaleza, the new one that's coming out May 6th is called Vida Tan Bonita, which means it's a beautiful life, or beautiful life, like the Ace of Base one. But it's also, but it's also about, trying to find the beauty and the authenticity and the truth in a world that feels so full of darkness and lies.
Yeah, and it also seems like how I took it as like not taking it for granted and just realizing how beautiful life can be, you know what I mean?
100%, yeah, Byron, totalmente. Yeah.
That's why like your song Salud too, like that's a cheers to life.
A cheers to life. And it has that kind of bittersweet nostalgia, like life is kind of passing us by, and I feel like everything is slipping through our hands, and it's kind of like this need to just kind of grab it, bite into it, not let it go.
So the entirety of this album is completely new. Like none of these songs were something that you had in your back pocket that you've been waiting for.
No, the oldest, the song that was previously written to the pandemic, the only one on the album, is one called Despierto, which is I wrote in the middle of the estallido social, what it's called in Chile, the uprising, the social uprising in October 2019. Oh, yeah. So I wrote that in my apartment in the middle of the uprising. I lived right in downtown, so it was in the middle of everything during the manifestations and during the, all the repressive military and police action happening. And so that's the only song that was literally written before the pandemic. All the rest was pandemic. And even though each song, I tend to be a very confessional writer, so each song has kind of its own little world, though they all have a certain, I think, longing for unity and longing for like love and connection. And, whether it's through family, like through the family divide, or ideological separation or losing someone or all these, all these things that are very natural to life, but that kind of fill us with longing and the need to kind of like, trying like the struggle to find the good or the strength to face those things. And Despierto, in a way, even though it's not pandemic, it also has that yearning, right? It's like the yearning of the realization, awakening, and then also the yearning to protect those around you who are being in harm's way because they're fighting for something.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of a constant human, just a human in general type of longing and type of aspirations in the back of people's heads all the time. And I think your album, and maybe that's why also La Fortaleza kind of hit that way during the pandemic, just because it's a constant thing. And when you confess, like you said, you're a confessional writer. You not only do you're letting go of your own things, but people catch on to that.
Oh my God,
they're also feeling the same thing.
100%. It's really special because like I write, I write to kind of survive and do it on my own way. And it's a way to manage life and the impulse that comes so naturally to just survive through music and creation. And I think when I see things that I've written in my intimacy, like in pajamas on the piano crying or something, and then I see and can feel people making them their own, it's almost so special and overwhelming that you kind of can't think about it too much, like, because it becomes like a weird thing. Like, I don't want that to go away. My ability to either write or my ability to feel or my ability to connect. And I think it's really beautiful and special. And I feel really lucky that just being my authentic self through my music and my writing, I've been able to create those connections in that community.
Nice, that's beautiful. I mean, that's what we look towards Francisca Valenzuela's music for sometimes,
Lindo,
I want to talk a little bit about the aesthetic of your new album. I like it. It's yellow and there's also a little bit of purple here and there sometimes. Are you the mastermind behind the aesthetic? So who came up with the idea? How does something like that come up to you?
So I'm really involved in every front of what I do. I think I love the 360 aspect of an artistic project, whether it's directing videos or doing the artwork or the live performances and the stage and the clothing and the, everything. I really do think about it in a way. It's just, I know it's part of the vision, because I think my approach to becoming a musician wasn't like many of my lovely colleagues, which I, very much admire and envy, which are like tremendous singers or tremendous musicians. In my case, it was about writing and kind of having a point of view. And so for this album, the whole musicality of the album is very kind of 90s, 2000. It's very inspired by the formative, like preteen years, like Paulina Rubio, Cerati, Shakira, Selena, Charlie Garcia. And so, we kind of, it was kind of like Diego from my team here who's with me. And we kind of were just like, I want, what do those albums look like? What do they feel like? Whether it's like Whitney Houston or Chayanne, and we're just looking for references and kind of went down that road. And it was very kind of fluid. And I wanted to make something that was very pop and colorful. I usually use a lot of color in videos and in live performances. And then the videos, there's kind of two different moods. The first batch of videos are all very theatrical and very choral, like an ensemble cast kind of thing. And then they're the more intimate videos that are more kind of like introspective. And I had a dream of doing like these ensemble theatrical Broadway-esque kind of videos, super pop, like kind of Alanis Morissette, Meredith Brooks, also all those kind of 2000 era singer-songwriters, which were a big influence in my preteen years.
Like that. So yeah, some of them make sense. Even your Como la Flor portada does have like that 90s feel of like 100%. Just black and white.
Yes, that cover. So that cover was totally inspired on Gloria Estefan's Mi Tierra album, which was my parents were obsessed with. Oh. And the beautiful thing is that Sebastián Cris, who produced Como la Flor, also produced that album, the Gloria Estefan album. So it was like this full circle, beautiful, like 90s.
So meta. That is so meta.
Yeah, so meta, totally. I sent it to him on WhatsApp and I'm like, Seba, mira, aquí va la portada, está inspirada, because in his house he has the, the platinum and the awards for the Gloria Estefan album. So I'm like, I looked at it so much while we were working in your studio. I was just inspired. It had to be an homage to the Gloria Estefan album.
Oh man, well, it seems like you have had a lot of fun creating this album. It's like a whole different type of energy. I mean, compared to La Fortaleza, because it felt a little more serious. Not 100% more serious, but definitely this one's a little brighter. It's like looking towards brighter days ahead. going
100%.
past this pandemic.
You're totally right. I think La Fortaleza's album was a whole different kind of endeavor, like emotionally and mentally, because it took me a long time to make that album. Like the previous album came out, I think 4 or 5 years before. And in those 4 or 5 years in my personal journey, I was a mess. I was a mess. And so it took me a second to get my shit together and be like, I'm going to make a new album. I think I understand what I want to do. I struggled, as we all do, with a whole bunch of issues. And La Fortaleza became kind of the goal, not because I was strong, but because I wanted to find that strength. And so it's like kind of like the journey. And if you hear the songs, it starts in this very dark place with the first song, which is called Nunca Quise Irte, which is kind of a song to yourself of asking forgiveness. And then it ends with La Fortaleza, this message of trying to be powerful, because I never write to myself anything positive. I'm always bad at myself, I'm always like discovering these dark corners within me. So I think that album has that journey, granted every song is different, but it has that kind of journey. Whereas this one, it's already after that, naturally. The picture I'm taking is after that serious kind of journey of self-realization or self-discovery that you're very eloquently mentioning.
So would you say that compared to your last album or even your previous albums, like this is your 5th album now?
No, crazy.
Crazy, right? Time flies. Would you say that your songwriting has gotten a little bit more easier in the sense that you're able to like put thoughts to paper?
It's a good question. I think more than the songwriting has gotten easier or no, I think I'm less hard on myself and I'm more open. So I think that in general, overall, allows for all the creative processes to flow a bit more freely and more comfortably. How do you say? Más cómodamente. Yeah. So in the sense of before there was, I think I still explore issues which are like quote unquote negative, whether it's rage or frustration or insecurity or jealousy or these things. But I think they don't take over and I don't like fight myself throughout the process. I think in previous albums, I did enjoy them, but I do think there's still a level of insecurity or doubt or lack of trust in myself or who I was working with was so strong that I think I was always a bit like con freno de mano, like I had a little bit of the reins were kind of tight, and I think now I feel a bit more looser and free, and I think I know myself better, and I think I know the process better, and I do think I'm less hard on myself or others if I am writing something and it just kind of has to be what it has to be. So that is gained from time and experience and growth.
Well, I'm excited to hear this new album, May 6th. I've been enjoying your singles. Really like Hola Impostora. That one is a good one too. I really love that one. Yeah. And Salud. I'm excited to see it play. You're going to be going on tour, a little North American tour, a small but strong tour, starting July. Are you like, how does it feel? I don't know. I saw you perform at a documentary thing not that long ago, but have you performed live in front of an audience before then?
Now after the pandemic.
Since the pandemic.
So we had shows. We had a very big show in Santiago in Chile, kind of like a release, like kind of post-pandemic / La Fortaleza release / show. That's the show in last year, which was incredible. It was like an amazing show. We had about 6 or 7 different musical guests with all our friends there. It was a full sold out show, like 6,000 people or so. It was beautiful. It was outdoors. That was a return to the stages. And then we've done some shows here in Mexico City. We did some festivals, and we're going to Colombia, to Bogota next week. We have a show there. So there has been shows happening. What we haven't done are shows in the US. Like I've never really done a tour there either. So it's the first time I'm actually going to travel to many of those places ever in my life, but also performing. And it'll be amazing because it's with Camilo Septimo, who is this amazing Mexican band who I performed with here in Mexico before. They're lovely. They've kind of like godfathered me. And so it's been great to work with them. And, we're getting on a bus and doing the full US tour experience. And I'm really excited because it's like a new experience, the first time to bring my show to all those cities and to really kind of face a new audience and present myself into that whole world,
Yeah, I'm thinking like, well, how many Latinos are going to show up during those shows? Like, especially the more like the places you wouldn't normally think, or maybe like it'll surprise you, right? Like you'll be surprised at every stop.
Totally, totally. And also discovering the US, which within itself is a world of its own. So it's exciting, like, of course, I've been in LA and, and done stuff there kind of here and there. But the idea to go to LA, to go to El Paso, to go to Austin, to go to Washington, D.C., like places I've never been before, and to perform there. And they're beautiful venues. I mean, we're doing Mason Hall in San Francisco, and we're doing the Gramercy in New York, and these beautiful venues. And or like in Seattle, and at Madame Lou's, which is like an iconic rock place, all these places that are really cool. So I'm excited. I don't know what to expect. It'll be hard work, man. It's like we have shows every single day, so it's good training.
And how are you gonna pack so much? You're gonna have a new album, you're gonna be performing, you're gonna have the Fortaleza album to be performing, and like you gotta give love to those things, both of equally, because people want to hear the old stuff that they weren't able to hear during the pandemic, and the new stuff.
Yeah, totally. It's a good question. Like as of yesterday, I began to work on the show itself and kind of the whole presentation of the songs and so on, the arrangements. I mean, to be honest, what I try to do is think about the musical moments that I feel are powerful and convey who I am. So it could be a song that's from 10 years ago, it could be a song from today or from tomorrow. I mean, something that's going to be released in the future. But I try to convey through musical moments, right? So like for me, the piano is important. I want to, have my moment at the piano. I want to have my moment that's kind of more emo and fragile and delicate. I want to have my moment that's more kind of rock, So it really comes down to the story I want to tell. And I usually think that the songs I have, the body of work, allow for that to happen. Like I can have a moment that's very romantic and soft, and then I'm very angry and it's like frustration or all these kind of hardcore feelings, and then this more political moment and statement. So I think I like to try to make that story happen with the repertoire and with the music, and try to pack it all in those 45 minutes to an hour. And but it's good. I think it's a good challenge to think about. I think for any artist or any creative, who are you? What do you want to present to the world, to a new audience? How do you refine that? It's a lovely challenge, and I always admire colleagues in any kind of creative area that have that ability and know themselves and really know how to curate who they are and what they do.
Well, that's exciting. I'm gonna try to catch you at the Echoplex. I'm excited. It's gonna be in August, and the weather's gonna be fine. The weather's gonna be beautiful during that time. You know it. You live in LA.
I love it. I love LA, man. I love LA. Yeah, it's weird. Well, I just left in March. It's just that recent.
Yeah, super recent. So, well, it looks like we've been talking for a while, and it's so great to catch up with you. And thank you for telling us a little bit backstory for your new album, as well as La Fortaleza, and what we can expect. It seems like we can expect a roller coaster of sounds and emotions from your little gira coming up. So,
well said. Yes, 100%. I hope so. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck with whatever you got going on today and into the weekend, and good luck on your tour as well.
Thank you so much.
And on your release.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the conversation. Good to see you, and take care.
Yeah, I'll catch you on the tour.
Besito. Ciao.
Ciao.